Hi everyone, I'm Jeremy Reeves, head blender of Cornell and Deal Pipe Tobacco Company, and today I wanted to talk to you all about our latest small batch, Steamworks. Steamworks is a very labor-intensive blend for us to produce. It required a lot of steaming of several different components. It is a Virginia, Oriental, and Perique blend, but quite unique compared to other blends that we produce that also contain similar components. Starting off, it's got 6 different Virginia components, ranging in crop year from 2017 to 2021. 2 of those components were steamed to a black or nearly black color, essentially making a Virginia Cavendish. And 4 of those components were then steamed to a lesser degree. We call it just steamed to color, basically deepened to like sort of a dark brown or purple color, depending on the type of leaf. The steaming brings the color down in sort of an interesting way. So if you've got like red Virginia, for example, like a dark red Virginia, it might come across as more of a purple at the end of this process. What happens with that steaming is basically it mellows things and it marries things with the deeper steaming components, essentially allowing them just to be kind of a sugary Cavendish note with Virginia kind of flavors, but greatly diminished and mellowed, and they take on that characteristic the Black Cavendish can have of absorbing and diffusing flavors from things around it. So it makes for a really nice creamy mouthfeel that still has a bit of sweetness. Then the 4 Virginias that were steamed less intensely, this mellows them and melds them, but it leaves much more of their natural flavor characteristics intact. But they still have a little bit of that element of sort of absorption and diffusion of flavor from other things. It tones them down to a point where the blend really comes across as having been aged. The tobacco is of course aged, but the blend has not been aged to the degree that I think it comes across in the finished product as having been. It comes across like a mature blend. The rest of the blend is comprised of 2 different Orientals, one Izmir, grown in Turkey from crop year 2005, and one heirloom Black Sea Sokhoum, also from 2005, and Katerini from 2006. So again, very old components. Older Oriental tends to have less of the really bright sort of spiciness and bright sweetness and bright aromatic characteristics that we expect from Oriental leaf. Those things are all still present, but it is once again reduced and mellowed and made more subtle, made more nuanced. They take on this wonderful sort of mustiness like an aged Bordeaux. And comparing fresh Oriental or very young Oriental to an older, at this point 18, almost 19-year-old Oriental, the same kind of like mustiness and softness and really, really deep round flavor, the really, really deep darker notes that you don't actually expect from a younger Oriental begin to come into play. It's really fascinating stuff. It's topped off with a nice smidge of 31 Farms Pure St. James Perique, and then the whole shebang is pressed into a flake. And one note on moisture content, I know many pipe smokers are fond of drying their tobacco down. I do as well. Some people talk about drying their tobacco to a crisp or bone dry. And with steamed tobacco, that's something that I would actually caution against. When you steam tobacco, you're basically opening the pores of the leaf up. And even in a mature leaf where the pores are already open from the ripening on the stalk to the point that the cells burst, you're still opening beyond that point. And when you dry that steamed leaf back down to full dryness, what ends up happening is those pores shrink back more tightly than where they might have been to begin with, which can have the result of making your tobacco more difficult to keep lit than it would be if there was still a little bit of moisture in the leaf. So I would actually recommend, if you're going to dry this down at all before smoking, to be mindful not to get it to a point where it is crumbly, not to a point where it is crunchy or what you would describe as bone dry, because you might actually, not only are you going to, in my opinion, miss out on flavor with most tobaccos in a bone dry level of dryness, but you're also, particularly with this steamed tobacco, you're going to have more difficult time actually getting it lit to begin with and keeping it lit. But with a little bit of moisture there, it actually burns incredibly slow. So I just wanted to point that out to those of you who are fond of drying down your tobacco. And I think it's great. I think it's fantastic. I'm really excited about it. I can't wait to see what you guys think of it. This was a lot of fun to put together, and it was a lot of fun figuring out how to get the Virginia character just where we wanted it to come through, with brightness and sweetness in notes, but not in a full choir voice. Think like a soprano solo with the rest of the choir sort of, humming in lower tones in the background or something. That's kind of a visual or an audio description of what we've tried to accomplish here with this blend. So I hope you guys enjoy it. I hope you guys appreciate the interesting tobaccos that we've been able to put together for this release. And yeah, I hope it has fun aging in your cellar for years to come while you enjoy it. Thanks so much, guys. Talk to you soon.